Okay, we got a question for Greg here. The question is from Michael. The question is, how important is delayed onset muscle soreness? I've been powerlifting for a little over 18 months, and so far I haven't had any significant amount of soreness. My program has reasonably high volume and intensity. So basically the question is that problematic that he hasn't run into any delayed onset muscle soreness?
Would you mind reading the end of that question just so A, we can get it on the record, but B, it's your words, not mine?
So, okay, here we go. Michael, he said, kind regards from Germany. P.S. The Netherlands must be destroyed. I just want to jump out. It's like when you're a politician and someone at your rally gets a little bit carried away and you got to grab the mic and say, hey, now, let's not go overboard. The Netherlands should not be destroyed. They should be
beaten into submission and turned into a vassal state.
No, Greg. Just relax. We should encourage people to say snarky things about the Netherlands. And I think that is a sufficient punishment for what they've done.
We can agree to disagree.
Okay. Would you care to talk about delayed onset muscle soreness?
Sure. So yeah, I think so. Let me start by saying delayed onset muscle soreness is probably to some degree a proxy for whether or not training was hard enough to be effective, but is also a really bad proxy. So essentially, I think like if you're training and you're making progress, you're getting bigger, you're getting stronger, I don't care if you're getting sore or not. This kind of cuts both ways. So some people are like, oh man, I'm still getting super sore from my workouts. Like, is that a bad thing? If you're making progress, like if you're objectively gaining muscle and getting stronger, it's not a bad thing that you're still getting sore. And vice versa. If you're building muscle, getting stronger, and you're not sore, it's not a bad thing that you're not getting sore. So like getting some degree of sore from training is probably to some degree correlated with the effectiveness of your training, but it would be a very, very weak correlation. So I think more like if you're training, you're not getting sore, and you're also not making progress, I think that lack of soreness may be a somewhat decent indication that maybe you should be training a little bit harder. But I think like other just like subjective assessments of, I feel good all the time. I'm sleeping well. I'm showing no overt signs of overreaching or overtraining, and I'm not making progress, and I'm not getting sore. Kind of putting that whole picture together probably gives you like the overall takeaway that, hey, I'm probably not training hard enough to be making progress. Maybe volume needs to go up. Maybe I need to push a little bit closer to failure. Maybe I need to choose more challenging exercises with a longer range of motion, which like longer ranges of motion are generally associated with a little bit more soreness. So like, if you have that whole picture, not making progress, feeling fresh all the time, and not sore, then yeah, maybe that's indicative of something is going bad insofar as you're not training hard enough. But if everything in the gym is going good and you're making gains, the fact that you're not sore is great. Like, I don't think people want to necessarily walk around being crazy sore all the time for its own sake. So, I mean, I've seen very different responses from different people. So like some folks legitimately get a couple weeks of training under their belt. They build up some like repeated bout effect type adaptations to protect them from muscle damage. And then they make great progress and they're just never sore from training. And that's cool. And then other people, they do, they're not as sore 3 months into training as they were 3 days into training, but they do still get pretty sore after most of their workouts, but they still make good progress. And that's also cool. So I do think that there's probably some like innate characteristic that determines whether you maintain a significant level of ongoing soreness as you continue training. And I do think that does differ quite a bit between people. But I mean, ultimately, the question is, are you making progress or not? Not are you getting sore or not?